Kadosh Boker Or Masechet Bava Kamma Daf Amud Aleph. We're on Masechet Bava Kamma 9a1. We're on the last line on Daf Amud Bet where it says, Amar Abaye comes and he says, Reuven shemachar sadeh leShimon shelo ba'achrayut. Imagine right now you have a case where Reuven sells a field to Shimon without achrayut. Remember, achrayut means without a guarantee. So I sold you a field as it is. That's the terminology nowadays. As it is, which means you can't come back to me afterwards and say, but this, but that. No. I sold you a field as it is. V'yatzu alea asikin. And all of a sudden now there's oredim. Oredim means, right, that oredim means that there's like people that come and they say that maybe he didn't own the field. I own the field, or somebody else owned the field. I don't know how you say that in English. People which are meored, people which are going to, I don't know, whatever it's written there in English. If you're not on your phone, you could actually see what's written in English, right? But whatever, right? Ad shelo yechzik ba. So it says like this, until, protester, thank you, right? Ad shelo yechzik ba, until Shimon doesn't come and make a chazaka, yachol lachzor bo. He could come and he could retract on the sale, and he doesn't have to pay the field. But once he made a chazaka in the field, he cannot retract. My tama, what's reasoning? Elmaleh, because Reuven could tell him, Chayta de katre savart de kabalt. What does that mean? You thought to be mekabel a sack, which is kashur, that you don't know, right, what's inside of it. So he comes and he says, Vikach kibalti. Right? And this is what Vikach kibalta. Meaning, you came and you accepted some sackcloth, which is not, right, which is not going to be kashur, right, to anything which you don't know. And that's what you accepted. So therefore, you come and you made a kinyan without being doresh any type of achrayut, right? And therefore, you revealed, right, that you wanted to do that. Meaning, the fact that you came and you bought such a field means that you accepted it. And that's what you wanted. So you accepted it. That's it. You have nothing more to say, basically, because this is what you accepted. Okay? From when is it going to be a chazakah? Yeah, so he comes and he says like this. He says, from when is it going to be a chazakah? Michidaish amatze. What does that mean? Once he's going to come and fix the gvulot sadeh, meaning when you come into a field and you're going to come fixing the boundaries of the field, that in itself, right, is already going to be the concept of chazakah that we talked about. Okay, fine. The shelo ba'achrayut. Now, if it's not going to be with achrayut, so he comes and he says now as follows. Yeah. Okay. So he says davka v'shelo ba'achrayut, aval ba'achrayut lo. So he comes and he says like this. He says when we're going to come and we're going to speak about, right, this entire concept, when he's selling the field, he's selling a davka if he sold the field, right, without achrayut. But if he sold it with achrayut, right, Shimon could retract even after the Masech Chazakah. Why? You bought it with a guarantee. If you bought it with a guarantee, and now somebody comes and starts saying, no, it's mine, he sold it. So you come and you say, here, take it back. Chazaku Baruch, I don't need your favors, I don't need it. Take it back. That's it. Why? You bought it by achrayut. Right? You bought it with this. Okay, fine. Says Gemara. V'ika de'amri. There are those that say, afilu ba'achrayut namni. Even if he did buy it with achrayut, right, he cannot retract. Why? Elmaleh, because he could come and he could tell him, Ach v'tirpach, show me the shtar. The bedin came and said they took it away from you. V'ashalem lecha, and then I'm going to pay you. Meaning like this. What's an ibur? A protest. But did they actually take it away from you? No. People could come, they could talk, right? There's always a lot of talkers, right? And there's a lot of people who say, no, this is mine, this is mine. זה לא היה ולא נברא לאדם. זה אף פעם לא שלו ולא... אבל they have this, how do you call it? Everything's mine. So therefore the guy comes and he says, the guy doesn't want to get into trouble. What did he do? He takes the field, wants to give it back. Listen, I bought it with achrayut. I bought it with the guarantee. The guy comes and he tells him, I'm sorry. Where's the document that they collected it from you? The fact that people are going to come and talk, there's always talkers. Forget about that. I don't care about that. If they take it away from you, I'm obligated to get it back from you. That's called the achrayut. But until they don't take it away from you and there's no sack of a bedin, there's no paper of a bedin, no, it's yours. You cannot retract. Okay, which actually makes sense. Because at the end of the day, so that everyone, imagine, this is mine. This is mine. Who are you? right? Show me that it's yours. And take it away. Once you take it away, then you're right. Then I could come and I have the achrayut, which will come and take it back. Okay? Fine. Next. Now we're going to go to the previous thing that we spoke about, which was a stira in the psukim, about being meshalem al nizikin from the best or not. Okay? Ravuna comes and he says, Ravuna Amar, o kesef o meitav. Whenever we're talking about the entire concept, right, there's no stira why. He comes and he says, the kavanah of the Torah is, or you pay money, or you pay from the meitav of the karka. Remember, meitav of the karka means from the best of the field, right, the best of the land. That was the edit, right? And you have money. Money, you pay money. Money, there's no meitav of money, you're just paying the money. It says the Gemara, 8-way, we're going to come and we're going to ask, right, the following question of Nachman and Ravuna. Rav Nachman comes and he asks from Ravuna, and he comes and he says as follows. Rav Nachman Ravuna. Mitav is like edit. Mitav is edit. Mitav just means from the best, which means whatever that means. Obviously, if he has edit, it's edit. If he has benonit, it's benonit. Right? Ayaliyah. Yeah, Ayaliyah, Ziburit. Ziburit, Ayaliyah. כאשר תוקעים בישראל? ואז יש קצת... תמיכה? אתה אומר שהם עלו. אוקיי, פיין. למה שלחתי בהם? כל קפץ. Fine. So now he comes and he says like this. 8-way. Yeah, he comes and he says like this. 8-way Rav Nachman Ravuna. Ask Rav Nachman to Ravuna. When it says in the pasuk, Kesef Yashiv Li Balav. What is Yashiv? The Rabot Shaveh Kesef. Afilu Subin. So therefore, you're going to come and you're going to tell me it's either going to be money or it's going to be mitava karka. Here it's written for Yashiv. Remember, Yashiv Bal Rabot Shaveh Kesef. What does Shaveh Kesef mean? Anything which is equal to money. For example, do you know that this also applies even to Pidyon Ben, right? Pidyon Ben, there's a concept that you have to give, right, the 5 silver coins. But technically speaking, can you give Shaveh Kesef? Shaveh Kesef means, can I come and I'm going to give something else that has a value of it? So you're right, they still try lechatchila to give coins and to give 5 and to give this. So that way it's still the, the, how do you call this? The Shaveh of what it is in the Torah. It's like, but technically speaking, if you say Shaveh Kesef, I could give you brand. I could give you subin. Subin, I could come and I could give it to you. Subin, brand. Brand. Look up in the dictionary. Right? It's brand. That's yeah. Brand. That's what it is. Brands is subin. Exactly. Yeah. Hi, Achav Ma'eskina. What are we dealing with? Bedeletle. We're talking about in a case where the mazik does not have nor kesef nor meitav. And therefore, when it says kesef yashiv, it means that the mazik will come and he's going to pay nezek b'shaveh kesef afilu b'subin. Or dilmaleh, or maybe he comes, or right. So it says the Gemara, if you're going to tell me right now that he does not have nor kesef nor karka, so pshita. So it's going to be pashut, right? Sheishalem from that which he has. He doesn't need another drasha. Okay. So Mao the Tema, I would have thought to say Amnilale, we could come and we could tell him Zil Tarach Zil Zabin Aitile Kesef. Go sell and then bring me Kesef. Mashmalan comes teach you that the Pasuk is teaching you Shehu Yechol Shalem Afilu B'Metaltlin Afilu Subin. And he doesn't have to get Kesef. Meaning like this. I would have had a Havamina. You know what my Havamina is? You don't have cash? Sell whatever you need to. Or bring me the cash. Show me the money. You ever heard the expression? Show me the money. Huh? I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah, but show me the money. Right? Show it to me. I want to see the green. Yeah? He comes and he says, no. He says, since if you do not have meitav and you don't have the kesef, I could give you even subi. I could give you whatever I want. I could give you. Yeah? Fine. Amar Rav Asi. Says Rav Asi. Ksafim. Kesef. Harin karka. Zay karka. Okay, so kesef is like the field. Ask the Gemara. Lemay hilchata. To what halacha are we dealing with? Ile maliyan meitav. If you're going to tell me that we're talking about now meitav, right? Hainu de Ravuna. So that's like Ravuna. Ella, but rather, right? What are we talking about? The shnei achim shechalku. 2 brothers that they divide, right, a Yerusha. נטל אחד מקרקע ואחד כספים. One of them took קרקע, and one of them took כספים. הוא בא בעל חוב ונטל קרקע. כמה זה בעל חוב and he takes a קרקע. תאז אליי ושקיל פלגה בכספים בדה. So he could come and take half of the money. So says the Gemara, Pshita, obviously, why not? Imagine, you have two brothers. One took the cash, and one took the property. Some people like the cash. They like the luggage full of cash, right? But some people like properties also. So the question is, right, what happens? You have a person, right, that he came, and thank you, right, and that he basically, the two brothers, one of them took the cash, one of them took property. Comes a Baal Chov, and he takes the property. So the guy comes back to the cash, right, the other brother, and he takes half the cash. So says the Gemara, Pshita, obviously, hi brava, hi la brava. One's the son, one's not the son. They're both his children. Why wouldn't he be able to take part of the cash as well? So says the Gemara, Ika de Amri, there are those that say Adra, but the opposite. The Yidach Gisa, to the other side. The Elmaleh, that he could come and tell the other brother, Lehachi Shakli Kesafim, that's exactly why he took the money. Because if it's going to be stolen, I'm not going to get from you anything. And that's why you took the land. Why? Because if they're going to grab it away from you, you cannot come back to me. Meaning that he comes and he says that the chidush is that he could say that's exactly why we took each other. We took each part. If somebody took the cash, what's very easy with cash? Cash is very easy to steal. It's much more difficult to steal a piece of land. A piece of land is fixed. To steal it, you either have to be a ben adam alim, somebody that's very powerful and you don't care about the government or cops or this or that. But cash, boom, in 2 seconds they steal, they take off. There's nothing left. Right? What are you going to do now? Right? And that's what, so he says, why did he take the money? Because if it's going to be stolen, he's not going to be able to take the field. And why did you take the field? Because if they're going to grab it away from you, you can't come and take the cash from him. So that's what he could tell him. Ella, but rather, says the Gemara, you're right. Two brothers, they divided the field. And that means there's no cash now, there's only field. So they divided the field. Right, man? Comes the Baal Chov and he takes the chelek of one of them. Okay? So in this case, this is where he said that the other brother could come and take the other half. Why? Because I cannot say that that's the reason why I took cash and you took the field, or that's the reason why you took the field and not the cash. We both took the same thing. Right? Each one took, let's say, the field. And now the Baal Chov comes and he collects only from one of them. Now, technically, the Baal Chov could take from whichever one he wants. Right? He just took from one. So now, says the Gemara, when he's going to come and take from whichever one that he wants, right? He comes and he says, right, here you have it, right? That there's no problem whatsoever. Why? Because they both took equally. They both took from the field. So he says, he says, 1 second, but Ravasi already said this case. It was stated, brothers that divided in Yerusha, and comes the Baal Chov and he took his chelek from one of them. Rav Amar comes and he says, Batla machloket, right? It's Batel the machloket. Ushmuel Aman, and Shmuel says, Viter. He lost out. He lost out. Oh. Yeah? What does that mean, lost out? Ravasi Amar, Notel Ravia bekarka, Ravia bemaot. He's going to take Reva in karka and Reva in maot. He's going to take a quarter and a quarter. He could take a quarter in the land and a quarter, right, in the money. That's what he could take. A quarter and a quarter.
But we're talking about when they have one field divided into two.
Yeah. Amar Ravasi. Ravasi comes and he says, Safim arehen kekarka. Money is like land. Money is like land. Says the Gemara, Lema yilchata. What are we dealing with? What's the case? So he says, Linyan meitav. Right? To do with meitav. That it's considered you're paying with meitav. So I know the Ravuna. Says the Gemara, that's already Ravuna then. Right? Ela barada. The shnei achim shechalku. Two brothers, they came and they divided the property. As Yerusha. V'natal echad. Sorry, where did I just go? Sorry. Says the Gemara. Right? He comes and he says this. V'hamra Rav Asi chadazim. Rav Asi came and he already said this. He says, Ditvar, as we said, achim shechalku, Baba al-chov natal chelko. He's going to take. Right? Notel Ravia bekarka, Ravia bemaot. So Rav Amar batla machloket. Rav Amar comes and he says, there's no chalukah anymore. Machloket here does not mean the argument between the two brothers. It means the chalukah, meaning the first division. Meaning, when something like this happens, they come and they annul the original division between the two brothers. The two brothers at the beginning, they came and divided the properties. A Balchov comes and he takes from one of the properties, right? And so now you have to start again. Why? Put everything back in the pot, and now you're going to divide. Okay? That's the way that it goes. Kasavar, he holds, Hachim shechalku kirshim havu. Because when you have two brothers that they come and they divide the Yerusha, they're considered like Yoshvim to do their chelek. And therefore, both of them is obligated to pay the chov of their father. And therefore, even though they come and they've already just paid back or whatever it is, that one of them was grabbed back, they have to pay it back. Shmuel Amar uviter. He says, no, he was mevater. What does that mean? Kasav arachim shechalku are considered like lekuchot, like people that purchase. It's like you're buying it without achliyut. Ravasi Amar, Ravasi comes and he says, noter ravia bekarka v'ravia b'maot. He's got a doubt. Is it you're like yorshin or like lekuchot? And therefore, you're going to take ravia bekarka, right? Uravia b'maot. Okay, so basically you have three different shitot. One more time. The first shita holds that when you have brothers that are taking it, they're like inheritors. So therefore, if right now somebody comes and takes away part of the property, you annul the entire transaction, put everything back in the pot, and you start again. You divide again. Second shita, they're not considered like yorshin, they're considered like lekuchot. Lekuchot means that you bought a property and you bought it without achrayut. So if somebody comes and he takes from part of yours, you lost out. Why? Viter, you're mevater. That's it. There's nothing what to do. The third shita, we have a doubt. Is it like a yoresh or is it like a lokeach, lekuchot? And because of the doubt of both two different things, that's why we come and we say that you have to actually come and you're going to divide it. A quarter in money and a quarter in karka. Okay? Elamai harenka karka. So what does it mean then when Ravasi comes and he says that money is like karka? What does that mean then? So he comes and he says like this. He says when it says harenka karka, he comes and he says linyan meitav, to do with meitav. So he says yihachi so that's like Ravuna. So he says v'chen amar Ravasi, you're right. Also Ravasi says like Ravuna. Money is like meitav. What does that mean? If somebody damages and they come and they say, no, but I wanted your property. No, the money is like property. So therefore, don't ask me now for the house, right? In La Creme de la Creme, right? In Surfside, right? Or in Bal Harbor. But rather, okay, fine. Yeah, so he comes and he says, but rather what? I can give you money. And by giving you money, that's it. That's all that it is. You can't ask me for anything else. Right? We're not talking about Benonit. Right? No Benonit. We're talking about the Idit. Yeah? Fine. Says the Gemara. Amar Bizera, Amar Ravuna. Says the Bizera in the name of Ravuna. B'mitzvah ze'ad shalish. The mitzvah, right? You have to take out your money until a shlish. What does that mean? My shlish. What does that mean? Imagine right now, right? You're going to come and you're going to spend money. Here, because we're talking about chalukot, that's why we're saying, right, we're talking about a mitzvah. So to do with a mitzvah, you're going to have to take out until a third. What does that mean, a shlish? Says the Gemara, Teta Mubet, 9b. Says the Gemara, if you're going to tell me it's a third of your house, which means that for a mitzvah, for example, a lulav, tzitzit, or sefer Torah, you have to even come and spend a third of your property. Imagine right now, I'm going to come in and say, you know what? It's so important, it's a tzitzit. Says, okay, how much does it cost? How much is the value of your house? So a third of that. Give me a third of that. The guy's going to say, wow, you know what that is? He says, get a third of his house. So he says, okay, fine. 5 minutes after he gets the tzitzit from me, somebody else comes to him and tells him, by the way, there's a love in it roll. He says, okay, how much does it cost? How much is your house? It's a third. Another third. And then the third one, by the way, you have to write the sefer Torah. In sefer Torah, there's Dvadim, there's this, you have sefer Torah. So what happens? How much? A third. That's it. You clean them. That's what we're saying. So we're going to ask, if you're going to have 3 mitzvot, later he's going to give over his entire house. That's what you're expecting. Ella amar bizera, says bizera, behidur mitzvah, ze'ad shlish b'mitzvah. The hidur mitzvah, you add on a third onto the mitzvah in itself. Right? What does that mean? Onto the mitzvah in itself. According to Rashi, for example, let's say you have 2 sifrei Torah, and one of them is more mehudar. In such a case, there's a mitzvah to add on a third of the price, right? In order, no. 1/3. לא
The non-meudar.
פי 3 זה כפול 3,
Yeah.
לא כפול 3.
עדיין
לא,
The Hebrew is שליש, not 3 פעמים. כן, שליש מהשווי.
if the non-meudar is 50 grand.
בדיוק, 333. כן, אוטומטית. כן, אתה לא מדייק. כן, זה פרוטות. Yes,
The non-meudar is 50 grand, and the meudar, you should be ready to pay 65 for the meudar.
Yes. Okay, very good. So that's the pshat. Yeah, it's a third. Right? Whatever, 66 and whatever. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, fine. Say 100%. Okay. So he comes down and he says this. He says, right? By Ravashi. So Ravashi says, ask the question: Shlish milegav or shlish milebar? When you're coming and you're talking about a third, are you talking about third within the keren or a third outside of the keren, which means chetzi, half, which means like this. For example, let's just explain. Let's say the pachot mehudar is $6, right? Whatever the case is. Let's say tzitzit, whatever. Tzitzit nowadays $6 is not even the undershirts you can get it for that.
תציט מודרת היום זה $40-50.
Yeah, true. So he comes and he says like this. He says, right? He comes and he says like this. He says, right like this. He says, if right now it's going to cost 6, haim alav leosif shne zuzim, do you say that it's going to be 2 zuz because it's a third of the 6, and therefore you have to pay 8, or leosif ad shlosha zuzim, which is half of 6, which is going to be a third of the 9, right? And then therefore it's going to be a third of the 9. Meaning like this, do you say that the third is from within or from the outside? So for example, before they were talking about the 50,000. A third of 50,000 is whatever it is, a 16 and a half or whatever it is, 16.66, right? And you're doing that by 3. So therefore, if you add 50,000, so you have to add $16,666, whatever it is, to the 50,000. So therefore, instead of getting a silver Torah for 50, get it for 66.66. Oh, that's the Meudah. Second shita, the shlish is not on the inside. Shlish is on the outside. What does it mean on the outside? The shlish on the outside means what's going to be the total. So for example, 6, right, is going to be the normal amount. If you're going to add another, right, third, right, it's going to be the 9, right? 9.
8. A third of 6 is 2.
No. But you're going 3, 6. Okay. So now you're going 9.
So
right?
you take
so
out
therefore,
the third, then you get
yes. So that's why you're going on the outside. So therefore, he comes and he says, which is actually going to be a half of the keren usually, right? So he comes and he says, that's the question. Answers the Gemara, take it. We don't have an answer. We don't have an answer. So b'marav ha'amra mishmei de Rabbi Zera shlish mishelo, mikam le'elach mishel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Comes and he says, when you're going to add on the third, it's from your own personal money. But everything that you add on from more than that is going to come from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which means HaKadosh Baruch Hu will pay you back, right, when you pay more than a third, which means, let's say a person came, let's just do the simple one, which was the third mile gav from within. So that just makes it easier, right? So again, you had the 50,000 for a Sefer Torah. You were going to add another 16,666 for the Hidud. But now, it wasn't only that. It was going to be 20. It was, instead of the 16,000 there, it's 20,000. So now it's costing you 70,000 instead of 50. Those extra 3,000, whatever it is, 333, whatever it is, right? Those extra, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will come and pay you back for it. Okay, that's what he comes and he says. Okay, fine. Until here, we're clear. Okay. There's a Mishnah on Teta Mubet. Kol shechavti b'shmirato, anything which I am going to be chayav in the shmirah to make sure that it's not going to get damaged, meaning in the property to watch over there's not going to get damages. Hichsharti et nizko. If right now he's zik, right? I was the one that was mazmin at the nezek, and therefore because I didn't watch over it. Meaning, I'm coming and watching over the bull. When I'm watching over the bull, not only am I obligated to make sure that nothing happens to it, if it comes and damages something else, I'm also chayav. Because that's what he says, Kol shechavti b'shmirato. Once I'm chayav in the shmirah, I'm chayav in the nezek as well. Hichsharti b'miksat nisko. But if I'm only going to be chayav in part of the nezek, right? So he says, chavti b'tashlumen nisko kehechsher kol nisko. So if you're going to be chayav in tashlumen nisko, just like kol a nezek. Meaning even though I only did part of the nezek, right? I mean, I only watched over, I only said I'm going to be part of the watching over part of the nezek, you're chayav in all of the nezek. Right? Obviously, the Gemara is going to explain what are we referring to. Next, when we're talking about tashumim and nezikim, it's dafka nechasim shen be'milah. Any property that does not have milah. Remember, milah means that it's consecrated toward the Bet HaMikdash, and therefore, if you're going to use milah, you're obligated to pay back the keren and the chomesh, 1/5, plus you have to bring a korban milah. So he says nechasim shehen shel bnei brit, and we're talking about also, right? That means nechasim that they're not chayav l'shalem for the ekdesh keren v'chomesh v'sham if you're going to benefit from it b'shogeg. Also nechasim shehen and shehen shel bnei brit obviously it belongs to a person that's a Jew. That's why they're bnei brit. Nechasim miyuchadim or nechasim which are miyuchadim to a certain person. Uvechol makom, and in any place where they're going to do the nezek, you're going to be chayav, except for mireshut miyuchad lemazik, a property which is only miyuchad for the mazik, ureshut nizak b'mazik, or a property for both. Kishizik chava mazik l'shalom teshlum nezek right mimetav haaretz, and therefore if he's going to come and he's going to damage, he has to pay teshlum nezek from the best of the law, which means like this. For example, somebody comes into my private property, they get damaged. Am I chayav?
Yes. They get damaged?
They get damaged.
Yes.
So the answer is no.
According to
The reason why
they're responsible for the property of the.
you came onto my private property.
No, but did you invite him?
No. Obviously, if I invite him, then obviously that's it. He came on my private property. That's what it means in the Mishnah when it says chutz mireshut hamiyuchedet lemazik bilvad, except for the property which is going to be only for the mazik, which means that if it's only going to be, so that's what it says here in the footnote. Im nichnas hashor hanizak lachatzero shel adam acher v'ziko shoro shel bal hachatzer, hare bal hashor patur mileshalem. Haktam lekach hu kevan shelo hayta leshor hanizak kol reshut liot sham ve'lo haya bal hashor mazik achrei lishmor alav shelo yizak. Right? A person's dog comes into my property. Right? I have obligation to come. Right? I have obligation to come and to pay back. Doesn't make sense. Why? That doesn't make sense.
I heard sometimes
We learned in the Braita. Kol shechavti b'shmirato ichsharti et nizko. What does that mean? That anything that I'm chayav to be shomer al zeh, so I'm going to be chayav if it's going to come and it's going to damage. Keitzan, what's the case? Shor or bor. If you have a shor or a bor, an ox or a pit that you gave it over to a cheresh shotev katan, v'yiziku, and the shor or bor damaged the person or a person's money. Chayav l'shalem, you're obligated to pay. He says, why are you obligated to pay? Because you were a posheah. What are you giving it to a cheresh shotev katan? Kilo a katan could watch a shor, shotek could watch a shor. What's going on? Mashenkem be'esh, not by right an esh. He says because if the esh goes, they're going to be patur bala esh min l'shalem et nezek. So says the Gemara, but my eskino, what are we dealing with exactly? You're talking about now that a shor which is tied up, and a bor, that means the ox is tied up, and the bor is covered, and therefore we're talking about by the fire, that it's only a gachelet. What's the difference? Saying if you give a person, right, something which is already tied up, why can't he watch it? The ox is tied up over there, or the bor is covered. Why can't he watch it? Ela baradu. The shor mutar, the shor is not tied up. Ubor meguleh, and the bor is revealed. The kavateka be'esh shall have it, that it's a live flame. So mashenkem patur, why are you going to be patur by the fire? Amar shakish mishmed chizkiah, says shakish elim chizkiah, lo shanu ela shemasalu gachele v'liba, only if he gave him a fire and he started making it, how do you call it when you make the fire bigger? You try to, liba is, when you come and you take the bellows and you start coming and you, how do you do this?
Promote.
Okay, promote. Yeah, kindle. Okay, that you come and you make it a bigger thing. What? Yeah. Okay. So he comes and he says, Aval shall have it. Hayab. My tama, what's the reasoning? He comes and he says, Dabari ezeka, because you already know that it's going to damage. Meaning the fact that you already gave him a shall have it, right, which is ready, you already know, right, that if you're giving it to somebody that cannot watch over it, he's going to damage. That's already done. You already know that. So says the Gemara, really be'emet, right? We're talking about shor kashur bor mechuseh, right? We're talking about the shor which is tied up and the bor which is covered. With kavataga be'esh, when we're talking about the esh, gachelet, we're talking about gachelet. So you asked what's the difference between the fire and everything else. So he says, shor darkele natuke. He says the shor, they'll break out. A bor, darkele nature. A bor, its derech is that it's going to move the cover. Kachelet, kama de shavikla, amya viazla. Like kachelet is the exact opposite, which means this. You come and you take an ox. Even if the ox is tied down, an ox by nature wants to break out. So he's always going to try to break out. A pit, even though it's covered, right? The wind, the this, people come, they slip, they move it a little bit, they don't put it back, they continue walking as normal. You have 2-3, that's it. It's normal. He says the gachelet, which is the coals, the opposite. The more that it stays there, the more that it dies out. So if it's not going to come, gachelet are the coals. So it's not going to come out and become bigger, unless, meaning in the case of the gachelet, you have to come and you have to do an action to promote it, to make it even worse, so to come into damage. Here, the exact opposite. Here, you don't have to do anything. It's going to be done on its own. That's the difference between the esh and the shor and the bor. Okay? Rabbi Yochanan, but according to Rabbi Yochanan, that he comes and he says, Afilu masalo shalhevet, even if he's going to give him the shalhevet, the flame in itself, he's also going to be patur. Just like by here, b'shor mutar b'meguleh, my shach, what's the difference? If you're going to tell me now, what happens if you actually give him a flame? We're not talking about coals. You're giving him a live fire. You're giving it to a cheresh shoteh bekatan. You're giving it to a deaf mute, right? A shoteh, a person that's not 100% there, and katan, a minor. They for sure can come and they can damage. What's going on? So he comes and he says, Hatam over there, Savta de cheresh kadari. He says the grabbing of the cheresh is what's causing the nezek. Because the cheresh is the one that took the shalhevet and he took it somewhere else. Hacha over here, lo tzavta de cheresh kagarim here, you didn't do anything. The shor and the bor, they're going to come and they're going to be mazik. That's what he says over here. The achizav, the cheresh, is gorem to the nezek. Here, the shor and the bor, it's done on its own. You don't need a third party. There, the cheresh took the fire somewhere else, and that's why it damaged. Here, even without the cheresh there or not, the shor and the bor is going to come and it's going to damage. And therefore, that's why there's going to be a difference. Okay? Fine. Says the Gemara, Tanu Rabbanan, we learned to the Braita. Chomer b'shor mi b'bor, right? V'chomer b'bor mi b'shor. Do you know that there's a stringency by shor more than bor, and a stringency by bor more than shor? Chomer b'shor mi b'bor. What's the chumra of the shor more than the bor? Shashor meshalem et hakofer. If a shor comes and kills a human being, he has to pay back kofer. Okay, that's what's the halacha is. He has to pay kofer, right? That's the value of the human being. The chayav b'shloshim shel eved. He has to pay back a 30 knas of the eved. If he killed an eved kanani, he has to pay back 30, right? Which is written in the Torah. Nigmar dino asur bana. If it's nigmar the din that it has to get killed, it has to get sekila, it's going to be asur bana. V'darko lelech ulazik. It's the derech to go to be mazik. That's all these things. That means all these criteria are by a shor more than a bor. Everyone understood? One more time. If he kills a human being, he has to pay kofer. If he kills an eved kirani, he has to pay 30 shekel kesef. Right? If it's going to be that if it's nigmar dino to be sekila, that it killed the human being, so it has to get sekila, you're not allowed to benefit. And the kol elech ulazik. Shenkem bor. Bor is the exact opposite of all these four things. It doesn't pay kofer, it doesn't pay the shoshim of the eved, it's not a surbana, it's never going to be a surbana, right? And it's not going to be the kol elech ulazik. It doesn't go to damage, you have to come to it. It doesn't go to you. That's a bor. He says, chomer bevor mi beshor, shabor tchilat asiyato lenezek. The chumra of the bor more than a shor. The bor, the beginning of the bor is always for nezek. Muad mitchilato. It's a muad from the beginning. I mean, there's no such thing. It's a muad from the beginning. From the beginning, it's going to be a muad. Okay? So he comes and he says, Umuad mitchilato. So those are the two of them. Right? That means basically, tchilato asiyato lenezek and muad bevor mashenkim beshor, right? That it's not going to be. And then we're going to continue with all the chumrot of whether short to esh to roy, we continue going with that.
Did you do any